Hey Cancers and Cancer lovers. This reading is for anyone who identifies as or is terribly interested in a Cancer at this time. We are looking at the end of January 2019, and we will look back to the beginning of Aquarius season, the 21st, to the time of the blood moon of January 2019 to see what developed for you at that time, and of course what it has led to currently, and then where that energy is heading by the very end of this month and even the beginning of February. That said, if you are interested in a private reading, just scroll down. All of your information is there. You can also email me at LunarticksTarot@gmail.com. And we will get started with your end of January messages, Cancer. King of Cups. This is you currently, your energy, your experience currently. Ace of Spears in reverse. That is the Ace of Fire. Heading towards the Five of Coins in reverse. So it does look like those of you who are the master of your emotions at this time, you are remaining calm and diplomatic in the face of a heated situation, whether that's a mental battle or an external battle, whether it's at work or in your love life. Those of you remaining calm in the face of trials and tribulations currently are heading toward financial, material gain, or a gain in your physical resources as a result. Definitely seems like many Cancers are, as I said, mastering their emotional realm at this time. And I think that for some of you, you're not taking into consideration with the Four of Swords here, what you're not seeing about that, Cancers, for many of you, is that it's your meditation time is greatly encouraging that emotional mastery. Have you started meditating more often? Have you started a new routine? Do you meditate longer? Do you meditate in different ways? While you're working out is often really effective. Doing any sort of exercise, yoga, etc. What has changed about your meditation routine? What has changed about the way you show gratitude for the things and people in your life that have seen you through maybe this particular battle that we're referring to currently, or any battles in your past? That is greatly encouraging and contributing to this emotional mastery that you're experiencing if you're not aware of it. And it's just because it's showing up as something that you're not seeing. I think that's what a lot of you aren't realizing is aiding you in this so much currently. Now, around the time of the blood moon, that total lunar eclipse that we had in Leo, with the Ace of Wands in reverse, something, and it is the Ace of Spears in this deck, the Ace of Rods or Wands in other decks, but as I said, the Ace of Fire nonetheless. Something or someone, perhaps yourself, Cancers, wasn't quite ready to develop, to move forward. Something was short-lived. From the cards that came up while meditating and shuffling the deck, likely a close personal relationship, and it could have been romantic specifically, absolutely, for a lot of you, but certainly something that you viewed as a type of partnership in some way. It wasn't quite ready. Someone, again, maybe you, wasn't quite ready, wanted to wait for some reason, and it made the entire interaction short-lived. Someone's intentions or actions may have been misdirected. And what I'm really seeing here is that, in fact, someone wanted, on the surface and consciously and in their actions, someone in the situation wanted to rush things. We have the Knight of Swords showing up, was eager to move forward, but in truth they were not quite ready, and that's why it turned out to be short-lived. When I see the Knight of Swords here, and upright even, this individual can be hasty. Now, they have conviction and they are determined, and they likely do frequently meditate. So maybe this is someone outside of yourself who has encouraged you to start this meditation routine we were talking about, or maybe this is when it began for you, or the need at least. But this individual does frequently meditate, and yet they can just be so overwhelmed with their thoughts buzzing quickly through their head, their plans and thoughts developing, that they can still be reckless. Oftentimes, because they are so determined, because they have such conviction to see whatever they're after through, or to gain whatever they're after, that they end up being reckless. And in the reverse, and though it did not show up reverse, when this card, this character shows up on its head, we see someone being downright disrespectful and stepping on someone else's feelings, right? So I don't think, for many of you Cancers, I don't think that this situation came to that point, but you could likely see it developing in that direction, right? Whether it was you or the other person, or both of your interactions with one another, both of your words toward one another, there was just this rush of words, this rush of thoughts, this rush of plans. And again, with someone, likely the masculine element being, with someone in the situation, likely the masculine element or a masculine party in the situation being very determined. It's like they just revealed too much too quickly about how they felt, or demanded too much too quickly, as far as seeing a physical representation of where they felt or believed the partnership was headed, where they wanted the partnership to be heading. And again, it just wasn't time. It just wasn't ready yet. It was like it was something fresh and new. We do have the Fool on the bottom of the deck here, which is actually advice for moving forward. But as a presence in the reading here, it does add something to the mix, and it makes me feel like this was something fairly new as well. This partnership, relationship, if you will, was something fairly new, and now that has sort of turned out to be a false start in and of itself. You have yet another new beginning as you walk away from that. It clearly just wasn't meant for you Cancers, or wasn't meant for you at this time. If this other person or you yourself were asking too much of again, the partner, the relationship, the situation, and sharing too much with the Knight of Swords here. And the Knight of Swords, and especially upright, is honest, does have a hold of the truth. But what I find is with this character is that, yes, they have a hold of the truth, of many truths, but maybe so many that they almost can't help but overthink in order to review all of the truths that this card, this character is carrying, and to wield them and to share them and use them. One can even end up contradicting themselves. And it's not that they're lying. They are being honest, but maybe just too honest, trying to think about too many truths at once, trying to share too many truths with someone else too quickly. a weird analogy, but that sort of fits, is almost like someone who gets up to the podium to debate someone else, right? And they know their facts backwards and forwards, and they've got their notes in front of them. But in a rushed panic, maybe because they don't like speaking in front of people or something, in a rushed panic, they unload all of their facts all at once, right? And so much of a debate can be about timing. And if you just unload all of the facts right at the beginning, then one, you've talked way too long, so you're going to be penalized for that. Two, then you don't have anything to counter your opponent's points later, right? It needs to be sort of a dance. It needs to be a dialogue, the way that the debate is structured, the way that it unfolds naturally, so that people in the audience watching, or even the other person debating you, so that the other people can follow along with what's happening, so that they can really see your point hit home as it counters another point, right? Rather than just unloading it all at once. And that's the energy that we're getting here, is you or someone else has unloaded all at once very recently, again, right around that blood moon, and it was just too much, too quick. One or both of you wasn't ready for it, and so you've had to fall into this state of deep meditation and healing, going within for solitude, contemplating on your own, by yourself. Honestly, I want to say right now, we're pictured here with another individual over you, or you are, if we're thinking of you as this character here, and candles all around. But I'm led to say that you may want to be in total darkness and total silence. Especially if that's not something that you normally try with your meditation. Add another element to it, right? Try to go not necessarily another layer deeper, but just to try something different and see what else comes up. But again, that having fallen into that space, being left in that space where you have no choice but to go within and heal and rely on your own intuition. In that space, Cancers, it looks like a lot of you have found, as we said earlier, gratitude for the people and the things, qualities within your own personality, even, that have helped you in past trials, but also in this most recent one. I think a lot of you are feeling super grateful for those qualities in yourself that allowed you to identify that the situation you just came out of was happening too quickly. There were too many truths, there were too many words. This person, if it was someone outside of yourself, did seem very determined, but it was just too much. You needed it to develop slower, and I think you're really grateful for the fact that you can identify that about yourself and your relationships, new or old alike, at this point. And that is, it's resulting in adding up to this emotional maturity, sort of leveling up as far as your emotional IQ is concerned, watching it develop, watching it gain points, right? And like I said earlier, being able to stay completely calm. So whereas this other person may be hasty and maybe even sort of rash with their words with you now, as this as you've backed off and this partnership has taken a turn toward not developing after all, not continuing forward. They may be harsh and rash with their words, but you are diplomatic, you are calm. Cancers are able to observe at this time, and often with Cancers, their own emotions regarding this person and the situation, and then to, as objectively as possible, observe the other person's as well, right? And act accordingly. I don't get the sense from this that anyone is looking to hurt anyone, or like I said earlier, it could have developed into a situation where someone was stepping on someone else's feelings. But as it stands currently, Cancers, you are working to avoid that. And it may, and I'll say again, it may feel like it's just coming naturally to you, and I think it is for a lot of you. But keep in mind those meditation routines, and whatever has changed recently about your meditation routine is really enabling you to be that mature, calm, diplomatic self that I'm sure you are enjoying embodying and that other people around you certainly appreciate. So do take note. Do take note of whatever has recently evolved in your meditation world, whatever new routine or practice that you've incorporated. And if you haven't, then the reading, if you haven't changed anything, you haven't started meditating more or in any kind of different way, then the reading is saying doing so, focusing more on your meditation life, or how much meditation you have in your life, the way you meditate, where and when, and your boundaries about it, how often you insist on having that be part of your day, right, can help you to maintain this diplomatic, emotionally calm and mature state of being, which again, it's almost like living in a near meditative state, really, being that in touch with your emotions, but not allowing them to get the better of you or to be what responds or reacts to someone else. Instead, you process them, you swallow them, you think about them, and then you come forward with a again, diplomatic statement instead. And yeah, if you meditate just as often as you currently are, or maybe more if you've been thinking about changing your routine as far as adding minutes or hours to that routine, it can absolutely help you maintain that state. And I think that it's a beautiful thing for many reasons, your relationships, your own well-being, but specifically what's standing out, what's being pointed out in this reading is your resources, your material, physical, perhaps specifically financial resources are seeing a gain as a result, which makes absolute sense to me. If you're in total, Aquarius had a somewhat similar message. We were talking about the same thing, talking about manifesting using your emotions, right? And if you're in a state of mastery over your emotions, then you, in essence, get to decide which one you want to feel, which one you want to humor, which one you want to experience, and certainly which one you want to live out loud, right? So which ones you want to stay stuck in, which ones you want to repeat, and which ones you don't. And so through that emotional mastery, Cancers, because of that emotional mastery, you are going to, by the end of this month and the beginning of February, see some serious gains. And for others, it's larger than, for some it's larger than others. Serious in the sense that it will be noticeable, right? It will be tangible. If you look back over this trajectory, you can see the exact cause and effect. I identified that I wasn't ready for how quickly this other person wanted to move, for example. I've shown gratitude for what helped me out of that situation, how I've matured over the years, let's say, that has allowed me to see that clearly about myself and them. And now, lo and behold, here are gains in my money world, in my financial world, in my material world. And I'm sure it will, if you can't see directly why, if you haven't been intentionally manifesting, then many of you will still feel like it is a reward, right? You will still have this feeling of, wow, I mastered something in my emotional realm. I bested my own immaturity when it wanted to cry out, when it wanted to run the show. I am the king of my emotional world in that sense, right? And here I'm being literally, physically rewarded. And even if you can't see exactly how, you'll feel like that's exactly what's happening. Like, thank you, multiverse. Thank you, guides, angels, whatever it is that anchors you as individuals, right? You will feel like you're being given this as a reward. And that's kind of exactly what is happening. That's kind of exactly what it is. And the way that makes sense for me to hear it and explain it more so is just that it's a natural cause and effect. It's a natural result of you being able to choose which emotions you really want to live out loud, you really want to use to draw you to the frequency that you want to be on. what you may not see about the gains that are coming at the end of the month and the beginning or the beginning of next is represented by the 9 of Swords, the 9 of Air. Now, this is often insomnia, being up at night with worry, doubt, fear, having the need to get into one's body because they are so stuck in their mind and possibly emotions. And I think that this is the place that Cancers were in regarding this situation and scenario. And what you've done is you've mastered that, you've bested that, you've come out on top of it, and to the point where it's leading to the gains that we see with the 5 of Coins reversed. So what this small short spread is saying to you is to keep in mind and to maintain the perspective that it all works in a cycle like that. As you enjoy the gains, the physical wealth, the material wealth, the financial wealth that comes in as a result of being emotionally mature and calm and diplomatic with this other individual or the other individuals who are involved in the situation with you, Cancers, you can keep in mind while you enjoy that wealth that what you have to thank for that wealth was this state originally of worry, doubt, fear, anxiety, the need to get away from those hectic, chaotic, depressing even thoughts that were holding you down. In some way, they are responsible, having been in that state originally, is responsible for you coming full circle to the gains that you'll be seeing at the end of the month and the beginning of February. You can frame this journey that way so that when anxiety and insomnia and sleepless nights and fear rises again, which it will within all of us, it will surface, we will never reach a level where that doesn't announce itself, where it doesn't ask us to take that dark road, right? Where circumstances and things don't happen that upset us. Of course, we will always reach that place, but you can bookmark that state of being right now as something that you can be thankful for, because you know what to do from there. You know how to use it to turn it around into a gain. You know how to turn this negative, arguably the most negative energy in the deck, and very appropriately depicted in this Game of Thrones tarot here. But you can use that state now to work your way toward a gain. I hope that makes sense. Anytime that state of anxiety and fear arises, you can think, I remember this, and I remember what I did with it before. As soon as I was able to emotionally master that situation, suddenly physical gains came in. So, you can take mental anxiety straight to emotional mastery and then on to physical gains, right? So, and what better way to bookmark and note that negative experience as something to remember as one that you know how to turn into a positive than to show gratitude for it. As you celebrate the gains, the wealth, the abundance that now comes in naturally, flows naturally toward anyone in this very deserving and calm state, be thankful for it. Be thankful for the strength that you had to make it out of the anxiety and fear, but be thankful for the anxiety and fear for arising. Thank you for showing me something that needed healed. Thank you for urging me and motivating me to master my emotions, to get out of my head and into my body, and to express from my heart space instead of a more egoic, cerebral space, because it led to gains. And so anytime that sort of state arises, just know that you can use it to gain more again. You can use it as a catalyst, as a starting point, because you know how to best it. Now, of course, every different situation has its own details, etc., but it's about knowing that you have the capability to do that, right? To change, as I said, that negative to a positive. And your advice for moving into the future, Cancers, is to be open and willing to take risks. And I think that's a big part of why we're talking about viewing this anxious, fearful, worrisome state as a positive. Because for a lot of you Cancers, you're feeling very extra sensitive right now. We are always very sensitive as a sign, as an energy, Cancers, yes, but you've just come out of something that felt like a battle. You won. You are mastering your emotions and seeing gains, but it wasn't painless. There was a partnership that you thought would develop. You saw it developing, and instead it turned out to be a false start. It turned out that I think in a lot of your circumstances, likely this other person wasn't quite mature enough for you, since we have a Knight and a King here. But that's not necessarily, that is specifically what it is for a lot of you. But for others, it's just that, as I said at the beginning, the truths that the two of you were sharing with one another were just rushed. It was too much too quickly. You weren't ready to, maybe in some people's circumstance, jump into another relationship already. One of you wasn't, or you just weren't ready to get so close so quickly. And everyone is absolutely entitled to their own pace when it comes to developing any type of partnership, friendship, or otherwise, right? But what we don't want to see happen ever in our journeys, Cancers, is to close off our heart space or the belief that that type of partnership, again, whether friendship or otherwise, is possible by remembering this anxiety and fear, these sleepless nights, and working to avoid them in the future. Instead, let's just work to remember that when they do arise, and they naturally will as a natural part of life, remember, we know how to deal with them. We know how to take it and turn that negative to a positive. We know how to showcase our emotional mastery, how to view those sleepless nights as an opportunity to showcase our emotional mastery again, and see the abundance that follows. Because you are encouraged, as I said, to take risks, to remain open, to remain curious. This is one person, this is one experience that has taught you so much and has allowed you to level up so significantly. Who knows what else is out there? Who else is out there? What other levels of emotional mastery they may be able to draw from you? What other areas of yourself and experience with them could teach you, could open up to you? Yeah, curious is the word that I want to highlight. To remain curious, where you could remain closed off. Because your heart energy, your heart space with the King of Cups up right at the center top of your reading, indicates that your heart space and heart energy is very strong right now. And it can be the tiniest. I don't think you're in danger. I think you should prepare to enjoy these gains. This is in your near future, even the beginning of February. So I think if anything, you should just prepare to enjoy those gains. But at the same time, I have to say that the reading is saying that it can be the tiniest things that throw us off, ultimately, Cancers. So you may, very much enjoy those gains and this emotional mastery and this mental mastery, really, with the Four of Swords showing up. And it will all make you feel very healthy, mind, body, and spirit. And yet, as I said, the tiniest thing could throw you off. So you may enjoy it currently, and in the back of your mind be thinking or be committed to the idea that you, as so many of us say, you won't let this happen to you again. And we want to replace that with, no, actually, I'm grateful that it happened, because look how it's changed me. Look how I've evolved and grown as a result of this trial and tribulation, and continue to take those risks, continue to be curious about what else is out there, who else could teach you, what other lessons could teach you. Though it will require, again and again, walking away from the things that aren't meant for you. That's what taking this new adventure means now, and it's what it will continue to mean in the future as you progress and evolve. There will continue to be things that you find that feel like they could be a part of your home, but that it will turn out you will walk away from in order to keep adventuring, in order to remain open and curious and true to yourself. So, with that, Cancers, I'll let you take a quick look at the reading yourself. I'm not sure how well you can see these anyway. As I say again, that if you are interested in having a private reading with me, you can just scroll down to the options in the description of the video. All of your options and links are there, but you can also feel free to email me at LunarticksTarot@gmail.com. I am more than happy to work with you that way and to talk with you about your options that way as well. What else did I want to say? Oh, thank you to everyone for all your contributions to the channel, whether they're donations, orders, comments, emails, messages, shares, likes, subscribes. Welcome, Lunartics. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all of the contributions so much. And I hope, Cancers, that you all make wise choices moving forward. I love you, Cancers, and I will have another tarot fix posted for you very soon.